everyone, so I just wanted to do a quick tutorial on what we've gone over in Glitch. I think a few students are a little behind because they were not here for the first session, so I'm just going to go over really quick what we did in that first lesson, okay? So first off, just in Glitch on glitch.com, I'm going to first of all make an account. That should be pretty straightforward, and go up to New Project on the right here. Then you have all these little options here. You're not going to use any of these because they give you some pretty wild templates that we don't need. So I'm going to go to Find More and then scroll down to Basic Website. We're not using Hello Website, we're using the blank version because that's the most simple version that they have. So I just click that and I'll take a moment just to get that all set up. Okay, so I'm just going to pretty much ignore this README. That's just going over the basics of what each page does. We have the index page, which is your home page. You will never rename this. If you do, your site will not work because any website that you ever go to, the home page is always called an index. That's just how code refers to it. Eventually we'll get into CSS. Glitch has given us a pretty basic CSS page to follow here. We won't worry about that right now though. Then JavaScript we will actually not be touching on at all in our class. If you are interested, I can send you a couple tutorials for that. So I'm just going to go over here and click on index.html. This is our basic coding page for our home page. So we've got quite a few elements going on here that we don't really need right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. This one might be fun for some of you guys. This is a favicon. That's just changing this image up here in your tab. If you want to, you can absolutely change that. I'll just delete that for now then. JavaScript I'll also delete because we won't be covering that, but I will keep the CSS element here. So this is the absolute basics of what you will need. And I will probably just copy this basic information onto each of my pages just to keep that style going on each page. So down here they give a little bit of text. You can just delete that because we do not care about whatever content that you have going. Here you can just put anything, maybe a tiny section from your creative statement from the first homework. So I can just say, welcome to my site. This is my portfolio. And for some reason they made the text in the button very confusing looking. You do not need a tilde in there. You do not need your caret all the way down here. You don't need a period over here or having this on another line. Very strange, but we won't worry about that. So this is the basic way to create a link. Right now they have it set to their Glitch homepage. We're going to delete that because we do not want our site directing to their homepage. We want it to direct to whatever page we decide to, okay? So up here, this title here, that's just what's showing up in the tab as well. So anything within the head is nothing that we'll see in this little preview screen or on your physical website. So you don't have to worry about this too terribly much. I'll just call this homepage. You can call it whatever you want. And for the heading, I'll probably just call it Sophia's portfolio. So you see, I'm just using the tags I already have set up, but just to go over those, we've got the H1 tag, which is just making this a header. We can change the size if we want. So I'll go all the way down to an H4. That's just making it a little bit smaller, a little too small for me, so I'll make it maybe an H2. So the way that the heading number works, it goes backwards. So H1 is the biggest heading that they can offer. You can always change that within CSS later. Then the P tag is the paragraph tag. And that's just making all of this content that we decide to write in there reflect whatever we have the paragraph set to right now. Right now there are no CSS styles set to that, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just going over the body right now. And the body is any of the content on your page. So we've got the head and the body. So any of your text that you want to appear on your screen will be within the body. So the CSS is just telling our HTML we want our font to be this sans serif with this line height. So I go back to my index page, and I'm just going to delete this to go over exactly how our buttons work. So I'm just going to tab over to kind of keep it organized, and I'll just do caret A space href. That's just a reference to this link. So any links that you add, you're going to have them follow the same format. So it's going to be whatever you name your page. So let's say our page that we're going to add is homework 1. You're always going to add .html at the end. That's just like saying .com. Then I'll do a caret, and then within these carets here, you see it's not popping up over here. That's because we haven't named our the text in our button. So I'll just call it homework 1. Again, you can call it whatever you want, as long as it's pretty clear that it's to the homework 1 page. And I know that I'm going to need a link to my reflections page as well. So I'll just go ahead and add that. A space href equals, and I'll probably call it reflections, and add .html at the end. Caret and reflections. And I don't really want them to be right next to each other, so I'm going to add a break here. So BR for break, and I'll add another here, BR. Okay. And I know that I'll have more homeworks coming up, so I'll just go ahead and add those in. So let's do homework 2, make sure that matches. Homework 2, and I'll just do one more, just to get the idea. So homework 3. And they're all lining up next to each other because HTML is very intelligent, not too intuitive. So even though I might add a line break within the actual HTML on this side, the actual page won't reflect that until I tell it I actually want a break right here. So I'll just do that. There we go. Now I've named all of these in here, but right now they're not going to go anywhere because I haven't actually created those pages yet. So right now if I click on that, it will not find it because that link doesn't actually exist. I've only referenced it here. So I'm going to go up to this little dialog box so I can look at my index page again. So if you're ever editing a page and you don't see it popping up in this preview panel here, just type in this box whatever you've called that page. And if you don't have this preview box, you can always go down to preview here, and it'll ask if you want to preview it in a pane or a new window, or just look at it on its own. So I will go ahead and add all of those pages. So I have my reflections .html, and I'll just hit enter to create that page. And there's obviously nothing here. We're going to copy all this information over in a moment. But just for naming pages, you will not want to use any capital letters or spaces, otherwise it's going to mess up the whole site. And once you're in CSS, you'll kind of start to see why that can be an issue with any capitals. That can be, it can mean a lot of different references that we don't actually mean, and just kind of confuse the HTML. So any of these pages, no capitals and no spaces. So I'll just make one more example here, homework1.html, hit enter, and we've got our new page. So for now, just to keep it short and simple, I will just copy this information and paste it here. And you see I've got this little warning here that I'm missing a closing tag, and that's just because I did not copy that. So I'll just go caret slash, and it already can tell which closing tag I'm missing. So I'll just go down. I have one more. That's because my HTML isn't closed. So there we go. And I'll add to these in a second. So I know that my reflections page also will need that. So I'll just paste that there. Perfect. So inside the body, again, that's where your content will go. I'll just do a little H1 here, and I'll say homework 1. And as you can see, since I switch pages, it's still stuck on the index page, so I will just type in homework 1.html. It pops up for me. We've just got this little heading now so far. So I'll just hit enter, add a paragraph tag, and then I'll just type in whatever homework I have going here. I believe this was actually the creative statement, so I could go ahead and name that title creative statement. Then I'll just type in, this is my creative statement, and of course you guys already have the information on how to write that. It can just be about 2 paragraphs long. Great, so I'll go to my reflections page and just go over very quickly how that should look. Great, so I will just do another H1 for a heading tag and call it reflections. Go after this closing tag, do a paragraph, and then I'll add in my buttons. So I could also do a little line here saying, these are my homework reflections to the required viewings and readings. And you can type whatever you want here. This is just an example. So I will go ahead and add a break tag because I know I'll need that for the buttons. I'll do a space href equals quote. And let's see, we'll just call this reflection1.html. I have not created that page yet. Might as well go ahead and add that. So reflection1.html, hit enter. And that will soon link to that page. So closing caret, then reflection 1. And again, I know that I'll have quite a few reflections here. So I'll do a little break tag, paste that, another break, and paste that. And then I'll just go ahead and rename these because I know I'll have a reflections 2 page and a 3 page and so on eventually. Great. And again, just to keep this organized, I'm going to have these line up just a little bit better. Come on. There we go. And on all of your pages, make sure to have a link to go back home. Because otherwise, if you just send me your live site link and I don't have a home button, I won't be able to get back to that index page. So I'll just do that here, home. Oh, and we're not looking at it, so I'll go to homework1.html because that is the page I'm editing up here, and I've got my home button. So this is the very, very basic look of your site at the start. So later on we'll jump into CSS and be able to make this look a little bit prettier. We already have some CSS going since we have this style sheet that they automatically created for us, but we'll definitely get to jump in, add a bunch of colors, even create a proper menu bar either on the left or maybe on the top. That's totally up to you on style, but you can see how all of these work. Oh, I see I need my home page link, so I will just go ahead, href equals index.html and home. And can't see right now, but I know I'll need some breaks here to kind of break that up a little bit. So now, perfect. So I've got a nice little layout here. I haven't created that page yet, which is totally fine. I'll add that later. But just so you get a very general idea of what this should look like. Just one more thing for adding photos. So let's go ahead and go to my homework page. Let's say this actually isn't the creative statement. Let's say this is like homework 2. So here are my photos from class. And we're on homework 1 right now, just so we can see. And of course you will have just a short reflection to each of these technical assignments, and that'll be about 1 paragraph long. So to add some photos, you're going to go over to Assets, then Upload an Asset. Then I'll just go ahead, find any random picture. Let's grab this one. And once it's uploaded, you'll see this little magnifying glass. Then we want to copy the URL from here because we'll need it in just a second. So if I go back to my homework page, let's put it above the home button so I know I'll need a break. So to add an image to your page, you're going to use the image source tag. So it's just going to look like this. Oh, and also, any images that you add here, they're not coming from your computer files, so you don't need to know the name of your file like in a file explorer or finder window, so you don't have to worry about that. There we go. So this is the basic tag for linking an image. Right now your images might look really big because it's only using the original sizing. We can add a little bit of inline CSS just to kind of adjust that. So I will add that down here. There we go. And that's just a super basic way of changing the size. So that's just img space src for image source equals quote. Then I just pasted that link that I got from the assets folder. And that's basically all that we have gone over so far. Any of these widths also, just to mention, you can resize that to whatever you want. That's totally up to you depending on what style you're going for. And we'll add a lot more elements later on with CSS. Those are the absolute basics that you need to worry about for now. I hope this helped you guys. Of course, email me if you have any questions. Depending on the time of this recording, our office hours are going to typically be Thursdays from 2 to 3, but email me if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in class. Bye-bye!